consecutive 174th time.
Yep.
And we're going to continue with the midweek wrap-up, which had as many matches as we have Funkos on the table.
He's right. I had to count.
You're welcome. Fill that awkward pause with a goofy sound effect or something.
Nah, I like the ambiance of silence. But yes, we did have 8 entire matches on the midweek wrap-up. Starting with NXT, we opened up deciding who was going to join Kairi Sane first in that Fatal 4-Way that will take place at NXT Takeover War Games. We had Peyton Royce, Nikki Cross, and Liv Morgan in triple threat action. Billie Kay out, obviously, in Peyton Royce's corner. Neither of the other ladies had anybody in theirs.
No.
Which is probably good for Liv and Peyton that none of the members of Sanity were in Nikki's corner.
Yeah.
That being said, it was a fun little triple threat. I liked watching Nikki manipulate things to her benefit.
You know, they worked a lot faster a pace than I expected them to.
Yeah. My favorite part was Nikki just grabbing Liv's arm and like, hey, guess what? We're going to double clothesline Peyton over the top rope.
Yeah.
And just, Nikki jumping up and like just hitting those little like jumping crossbodies that she does and just pounding away at both ladies' faces. Like, she just doesn't care. She's insane.
She is.
And you called it fairly early on that there was going to be some sort of distraction, especially considering that Billie Kay was at ringside.
Yeah, I said that once it popped into my head that it was like, oh yeah, it's a triple threat, no disqualification.
Yeah.
And Peyton Royce has an extra person there.
Yeah.
That, here comes a distraction, and Peyton's going to get one over on Nikki Cross.
Yeah. And a distraction did happen, but it was not Billie Kay that caused the distraction.
Billie tried and got whacked.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't work out well for Billie. But instead, Taynara Conti from the Mae Young Classic was sent to the ring by Undisputed Era.
Interesting.
She went after Nikki once, and it didn't quite work for her. Nikki had a little bit of a comeback, and then she hit an elevated twisting neckbreaker on Liv, and went for a pin again, and Taynara pulled her out of the ring, and then Nikki lost her shit.
Yeah, chased her around. Taynara swooped into the ring and put Nikki right in the crosshairs of a well-placed spinning kick from Peyton Royce.
Yes.
Followed up with that bridging fisherwoman suplex. And Peyton Royce is going to take over to be part of the 4-way match to determine the new NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah. And we can say it right now, part of the next week stuff. Actually, we can just kind of go through next week because two things kind of coincide with this, because we have our next triple threat match, which will involve Ruby Riott, Ember Moon, and Sonya Deville in triple threat action. And now that Undisputed Era seems to have their female counterpart, they go into a 6-man tag match against the male members of Sanity next week. And then we will also have an exclusive interview with NXT champion Drew McIntyre, potentially about either being champion or the match against Roderick Strong or the weird situation where Roddy was.
Yeah, they mentioned it was gonna have to do with the Roderick Strong Undisputed Era confrontation at the top of the ramp.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but what is Drew really gonna have insight on about somebody else's?
I feel like you need an exclusive interview with Roderick Strong or Adam Cole or.
Yeah, no, and I think that's exactly what it's gonna be. Is it's gonna be like, I think it's gonna be in the ring, and the person's like asking Drew a question, and then either Adam Cole or Roderick Strong will come out and like be like, why are you asking him? I mean, he is the champion, but like, he's not the focal point of your interview.
Usually the exclusive interviews though, those are the ones they do in the back though, where they'll have, they'll have Morrow or they'll have someone sit down with the person. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's actually going to do the interview. I don't know if
I just think whoever they ask, like whoever they mention first in the question, it's going to come out and be like, is going to interrupt the question and be like, he didn't have, like, sure, it happened in the NXT match, but Drew didn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
So why don't you ask someone who's relevant to the question that you want to know the answer to?
If they do it in the ring, yeah.
Be all in the face. Well, I think it could happen backstage, too.
Yeah, we'll see. Then we finally had the in-ring debut of Lio Rush.
Yeah.
As he took on the Velveteen Dream.
Getting a little chance to avenge the attack from last time.
And he had a couple of flurries, but it wasn't a very successful outing for Lio Rush.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't win, but he got over.
Oh, yeah. It took two little jumping kicks and the crowd exploded. Like it was very split chanting right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
But then once Leo got moving and doing what he does
once
best,
they realized how fast he can move.
Yeah. When you can't see him, then they're like, "Oh shit! Yeah, we like Lio Rush." But Velveteen Dream also showing off some amazing athleticism as well. I love his rolling Death Valley driver. It's super. I forget he does it, and I'm surprised every time, which is super cool. And then he followed that up with a little a little hop up purple rainmaker as well. He hit that rolling Death Valley driver, and then he was standing on the top rope, did a little pose, hopped up to the top rope, beautiful elbow drop, and continued to mock and try and get attention from Aleister Black.
And Aleister Black didn't come out, didn't show up on the Tron, didn't pay, probably didn't even watch the match.
Aleister Black don't give a fuck. I mean, eventually he will, but right now he doesn't give a fuck. Then we had Danny Burch's worst idea since coming to NXT, and that's challenging Lars Sullivan.
That never goes well for anyone, to be honest.
Danny's a tough dude.
Much in the same way Oney Lorcan is.
But neither of them fare very well against Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, because Lars Sullivan is what happens when you smash Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch together and put that on steroids.
That's terrifying.
That's Lars Sullivan.
Needless to say, Lars Sullivan destroyed Danny Burch.
Danny Burch got a few rough European uppercuts, but that was about it.
And then Lars Sullivan sold, and it was scary. He's a terrifying man. If you can call him a man.
With a terrifying plan. He's going to be the new Big Zeke for Brian Kendrick.
Alternate reality Brian Kendrick is Lars Sullivan.
He's just going to be the new Big Zeke for Brian Kendrick.
That's weird. Yeah.
That would make Brian Kendrick way scarier.
Oh, absolutely.
Ditch Jack Gallagher for Lars Sullivan.
No, man, keep Jack Gallagher. You get Brian Kendrick, Lars Sullivan, and Gentleman Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, you have Lars just do whatever he wants, and Jack Gallagher's the one that controls it though, without even talking. Whenever Lars is going to
he's
do it. Whenever Lars
a little mustache
whenever Lars just gets too into whatever he's doing, Jack's just and Lars I'm sorry.
That'd be such a weird oh man. I'm kind of into that. Let's put Lars Sullivan on 205 Live. That's just when he beats up 205 people because he can.
On live TV.
Yeah. But he beat Danny Burch with the elevated Uranagi. Then Damian Smith and Espada tried their best against the Street Profits. What, you've never heard of Damian Smith and Espada? Neither had we.
Biggest up-and-coming tag team in a long time, man.
They did a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, they literally got zero offense.
The most that they contributed to this was us trying to decide who Damian Smith looked like.
Yeah.
potentially Raven, smaller Sammy Callahan. What was the other one we had?
Oh God, I called him.
Oh, you called him Scotty Flamingo?
I called him Scotty Flamingo when you called him Raven.
Yeah.
So then he looked like even skinnier Neville.
Yeah, like Pac without the muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died. Street Profits won, and then they had a party in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's how that went.
Yeah, they climbed up to the top of the bleachers and found somebody that had a Street Profits sign.
That's usually what they go for. And then our main event was a rematch from NXT Takeover Brooklyn, Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. And good God, these guys fucking rocked it.
This was better than their Takeover match.
Way better than their Takeover match.
Which wasn't bad.
No, that's the thing, is like Takeover matches are usually pretty good. And I think I even said when we watched Brooklyn that was Andrade's best match at that point.
Yeah.
You know, with a close second being the couple matches he had with Oney Lorcan. Now this match is the best Andrade match I've seen.
Yeah.
Because this was fucking awesome. Some great back and forth, great chemistry, lots of great false finishes. And
so many good
and they fucking
falls.
Unloaded on each other too.
Yeah, and I love like a big portion of the match, and like Nigel talked about it, is that like after they wrestled at Takeover, they had experienced all of their signature moves. So they both knew exactly what they were looking to avoid during this match.
That's a good point.
So a lot of the signature moves were all countered, at least the first go around, and then both guys were busting out moves that they didn't use on the regular in order to gain the upper hand on their opponents.
Yeah. And it was, all of it was effective and not effective at the same time. It was a fantastic battle. And then Johnny went on a tear where he just hit a couple of really good, a good succession of moves and got Andrade in the Gargano escape. And then Zelina ended up unzipping her jacket and taking off and having the DIY shirt on underneath. And like Johnny kind of stopped for a second, and she goes, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" And then he just fucking like wrenched back on the submission. But there was enough of a distraction for him to kind of let loose, and Andrade was able to scoot back and get to the ropes, break it up. Johnny starts going again, and just starts hitting things left and right, and then Andrade just he pulled out a win.
Yeah, it was really cool. Initially he went for the hammerlock DDT off the top rope.
Yeah,
which then Gargano countered, but then Almas countered the counter, and then Gargano countered the counter, and
it was so good. He finally did get the hammerlock DDT, but it was like that small distraction gave Andrade enough time to rethink, and then had a counter for everything that Johnny was throwing at him.
Yeah, they ended with Gargano missed something and then Gargano was running at Almas, and Almas tripped him.
Yeah, he went face first,
smashing into the bottom rope,
and then the two double knees to the back of the head.
Yeah, and he just picked him up and hit that hammerlock DDT and took the win.
So good. So, that's insane. Now Andrade has 2 wins over Johnny Gargano due to a DIY shirt.
Which, by default, then also means Andrade is better than Riddick Moss and Tito Sabatelli.
Well, I could have told you that. That's my bias. A fairly solid episode of NXT. But we move on to Night Trace of Season Trace of Ultima Lucha Tres. And Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
And guess how many matches we have?
Quattro?
Trace.
Oh, fuck.
We have Trace matches. Our first one is Last Luchador Standing. Sexy Star versus Taya.
I was really excited for this match. And then it came and went so fast that I was like...
Yeah,
It felt rushed.
It did. And I think that's the problem with having three important matches all on the show. One of them is going to lack. And that's kind of been the thing, is the first match of each night has been less than stellar. Didn't really care for Famous B versus Tejano. The Battle Royal just kind of happened, and then this one felt rushed.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder about the three matches we're going to get next week. But Sexy Star and Taya, they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Taya bled a lot.
It was like 40% chops.
Yeah. There was a lot of broken boob blood vessels. It was
traits.
And there was they each came out with their own pair of brass knuckles. And
they did a high spot double fall through a stack of tables.
Yeah, it was Taya was going to throw Sexy through it, and then Sexy was able to kind of shift her weight and put Taya through it and land on top of Taya, which this is the first and only time that the referee actually had to do the 10 count, and only Sexy Star was able to get up, and Sexy Star is the last luchador standing. Then we had our can't believe this trio is actually going to try and do this match as the Max partners Dante Fox and Killshot still wrapped up and
freshly returned from the hospital.
Holy okay. First off, this match was great. This is a really fun trios match. We saw more,
and the Undersnaker was there.
Hey, he did more than he's done in anything he's done in Lucha Underground.
Oh yeah, but that's not saying a lot.
But at the same time, it is saying a lot. Because when he only does one or two moves, and we saw at least 5, that's a lot. He doubled his move count.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
But
he had a clothesline.
Killshot and Dante Fox. As if we didn't have enough respect for you after night 1 of Ultima Lucha Tres, y'all come back and you put on this fantastic display. Dante Fox's back is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in wrestling.
Oh, I've got things to show you.
No, and that's exactly why I don't watch that shit. Because... Ooh.
You saw the Sexy Eddie arm found incident.
Yeah, and it makes me throw up. It makes me, actually sick watching him do that. That's why I don't watch that.
You think Air Fox's back was more disturbing?
I've never seen chunks of flesh torn out of someone's back before. And they did a close-up, and I saw it. And I didn't need to see it. It was bad enough that he had the shirt on at one point, and I could see the glass marks in his elbow. But then to see the full scale of what the glass did to Fox's back was insane.
Yeah.
That being said, these guys put on a hell of a show. Dante Fox and Killshot, obviously, you don't really have to sell when you put your body through shit like that. But the fact that they were as beat up as they were and still went 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They didn't miss a fucking beat.
The very beginning, the first move where Dante Fox was in the corner and Pindar did a wheel kick into the corner, it looked like Dante Fox was going to throw up.
Yeah. He regretted every decision he's ever made at that one point. And Pindar ran a lot of this match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Undersnaker, we talk about, he doesn't do a whole lot, but yeah, Pindar.
And I think it's just Drago as a heel. He's so popular already.
Yeah.
That underexposing him when we're so used to seeing him do so much is the only way to make people like him less.
And I think it makes a lot of sense, because Drago is who Cobra Moon wanted the whole time, to have him pull back and let the cronies do the work.
Yeah.
That's classic heel. That's how that works. But Yeah, a fantastic match all the way through. Like we said, Pindar running most of the match. He ends up getting 3 finishing moves. He ends up getting the Spanish Fly from Dante Fox.
The Dante's Inferno.
Stands up, ends up getting the Stunner from the Mac. And as he's down from that, he's starting to sit up. And he gets the Kill Stomp from Killshot. And we have brand new Trios champions. That was awesome. And then we even had like, man, and at that point, Dante's back is just bleeding again. It's like, it's made its way around his ribs. It is gnarly, but we have a moment where, you know, Mac holds up one championship, and then Killshot holds up his, and then Dante's kind of like, he's like second guessing it, but then finally he holds it up, and like, they're all in unison, and it's, you know, Dante and Killshot have like gotten past their issues. They, you know, the respect there, and it's just, it was fucking cool. And we need a season 4 now. We need to see where this goes. So please fund season 4. Please. And then our main event was a ladder match for the Gift of the Gods Championship, Pentagon Dark versus Son of Havoc.
Yeah, this was fun.
There was a lot of ladders. There was a couple of tables. There was
violence.
A lot of violence, because I mean that's what happens. That happens no matter what Pentagon Dark is doing. If he's out at ringside, there's violence.
Yeah.
But when he's vying for a title, and he wants to eventually get a shot at the Lucha Underground Championship, it's gonna be extra violence.
He's been close to that Lucha Underground title a couple times.
Yeah. Like that was the story going into this. Is like both of these guys, like.
But being the Gift of the Gods champion is about as close as you can get
without actually
being the champion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when they say in WWE that being the holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase almost guarantees you to be a future champion.
Exactly.
Unless you're Baron Corbin, you fucking idiot.
You know, Son of Havoc almost had a shot last year at Ultima Lucha. And got screwed over by Dr. Wagner.
Yeah.
And you know, Pentagon Dark has tried multiple times for that championship and just hasn't got it. So it's both of these guys going balls to the wall, trying to do everything they could to get at least one step closer to the championship. And yeah, I mean, between ladder spots, I mean, Pentagon threw almost every single ladder they had into the ring. The table spots, you know, creativity with the ladders. It's Son of Havoc is an amazingly athletic person.
Yeah, they did the shooting star RKO spot.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
If you
I don't think I've ever seen Pentagon use a cutter before, but why the fuck not?
Oh, he does it every now and again.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a cutter guy.
All right. It was.
Did the package pile driver on a pile of chairs?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a...
It
didn't look like...
He's done it on a pile of chairs. This was just 4 set-up chairs.
Yeah, which, I mean, at the end was a pile.
And then we had... Okay, so Pentagon he sets up the ladder, and there's a table... And he's got this whole like bridge.
The ladder scaffold.
Yeah, the ladder scaffold you see in every single ladder match ever is set up, and he puts Son of Havoc on the table, and he gets on the little like bridge he's made, and like kind of sets himself up, looks back, and then starts climbing the ladder. Fucking trolled the moonsault, and then Son of Havoc makes him regret that. Gets up, pulls him down, fight a little bit. You're waiting for someone to either like get suplex or something through the table. Instead, it was just Pentagon Dark like hucking Son of Havoc through the table, and his elbow busted that table.
Yeah, it was very much like he got rock bottomed through the table.
Yeah,
and it looked sort of like if you would have like photoshopped Pentagon out of it, it just kind of looked like Son of Havoc hopped off the ladder and elbow dropped the table.
Pretty much. Which was more than enough to allow Pentagon Dark to climb up to the ladder and retrieve the Gift of the Gods Championship.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, next week is the final night of Ultima Lucha Tres. We have
Matanza versus Dragon Azteca Jr. in a cage match.
We have a triple threat match for the Gauntlet. We have Cage versus Jeremiah Crane versus Mil Muertes.
And then, the main event of Ultima Lucha. Johnny Mundo puts his title on the line. Prince Puma puts his career on the line. It's going to be a killer match.
And then we actually saw Prince Puma at the end of the night having like a final word with Vampiro.
Yeah, Vampiro, who looked like he'd seen better days.
He had
a slashed throat. He looked like
gunshot.
He had a bullet wound in the head. He had almost looked like a piece of glass was like jutting out
or it
of
looked
his
like
face.
he got stabbed or something. Yeah, there was.
He had like something jutting
It was
out of his
literally
face.
like it literally looked like someone had tried to kill him multiple times.
Yeah.
That was his makeup. But
and then he was all silver.
Yeah. The weirdest thing about this is apparently he has a master.
I guess.
Don't know.
And we'll never find out because there hasn't been yet anyone to step forward to put the money out for an Ultima Lucha season 4.
Well, we
know of.
We don't know what we're gonna see next week because Prince Puma's in the main event. So maybe Vampiro's gonna be involved in that. Maybe his master will be involved in that. Pentagon Dark might cash in.
He technically can't cash in day of.
Dario might let it slide.
It's true.
Dario does things like that. Plus, we have the Gauntlet on the line. We don't know if their friend is going to show up, especially if Cage wins the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
All kinds of things could potentially happen next week. Plus, we have Matanza in a cage match against Dragon Azteca Jr. So
expect to see a little green guy get ping-ponged all over a cage.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad day for Dragon Azteca. But with that being said, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click the links.
There are so many links.
Like a podcast.
That's the SoundCloud link.
And Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
It's reasonable to W.
Like wrestling. But be sure to stay on this channel because coming up this weekend we will have a top 5 for the month of October. You can go back and check out our Hell in a Cell review. And then check us out next week for week 175. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Yeah.